Okay, let's be real. You're hearing about this stuff everywhere. You've probably even used it. But do you really know how it all works under the hood? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain on generative AI.
I mean, I'm willing to bet you recognize at least a few of these, right? ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E, these names are just everywhere. Maybe you've asked one to help you punch up an email, or, create a crazy image, or even just to see what all the fuss is about.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We see this magic happening on our screens, but what's really going on in the background? How in the world does a computer create something that feels, well, genuinely new? That's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so before we dive into the super technical stuff, let's start with a really simple idea. Think of it like learning to cook. I mean, to become a great chef, you wouldn't just start throwing random ingredients in a pan, would you? Of course not. You'd study thousands and thousands of recipes to learn the fundamentals, what goes with what, the techniques, the patterns.
And that's pretty much exactly what generative AI does. It digs through these massive libraries of training data, think of them as its cookbooks, and it learns the patterns. It's not just memorizing recipes, it's understanding the principles of cooking. So then it can use that knowledge to whip up its own original dishes. See, it's not just copying and pasting, it's genuinely creating something new based on all those deep patterns it's picked up.
Right, but here's the thing. Generative AI isn't just one single thing. It's more like a whole family of different technologies, and each one has its own special skill. So let's break down the 4 main building blocks you really need to know about.
First up, you've got transformers. Now to get this, picture an older AI trying to read a book. It's like it's reading word by word, with a tiny little flashlight in a huge, dark room. It only sees one word at a time. But transformers? Whoa, they're different. They basically see the entire page all at once. And because they see the whole context, they can understand how a word at the beginning of a paragraph connects to a word at the very end. That's a game changer.
And that ability, that big picture view, is exactly what makes them the engine behind the tools you know, like ChatGPT and Claude. They are just amazing at understanding and generating language that sounds, well, human, which of course makes them perfect for everything from chatbots to helping you write code.
Okay, next on our list, GANs. That stands for Generative Adversarial Networks, which sounds complicated, but the idea behind it is actually pretty cool. Think of it like a game of cat and mouse between 2 AIs. You have one AI, the forger, that's trying to create fake art, and then you have a second AI, the detective, whose only job is to spot the fakes. They go back and forth, constantly trying to outsmart each other. The forger gets better at faking, the detective gets better at detecting, and this crazy competition goes on until the forger's creations are so good they're basically indistinguishable from the real thing.
This whole adversarial process makes GANs super fast at generating stuff, especially realistic photos. You've probably stumbled across those websites like, "This person does not exist." Yep, that's a GAN at work. Their biggest advantage is definitely speed. The downside? They can be a little unpredictable, a bit unstable to work with.
And that brings us to our third type. And this one has absolutely exploded in popularity: diffusion models. The way these work is just fascinating. The AI literally starts with a screen full of random noise. Think old-school TV static. Then, step by step, it starts to refine that static, slowly removing the noise until a clear, beautiful image emerges. It's almost like watching a photograph develop, but in reverse.
It's because of this really careful, methodical process that tools like Midjourney and DALL-E can create such breathtakingly high-quality images. Now, are they slower than GANs? For sure. But the level of artistic detail and photorealism you can get, it's often on a whole other level.
So if you want a simple way to think about it, here's the trade-off. GANs are the sprinters. They're incredibly fast, but maybe a little clumsy sometimes. Diffusion models, on the other hand, are the marathon runners. They're slower, much more methodical, but the end result is often more stable and way higher quality. And that's exactly why you're seeing so many of the new, popular AI art tools being built on this diffusion tech.
All right, on to our final building block, VAEs. It stands for Variational Autoencoders. And I can almost guarantee you've used these, probably without even knowing it. Just think of any of those fun face filters on Snapchat or Instagram. You know, the ones that give you puppy ears or crazy sunglasses?
Yep, that's VAEs in action. They're absolutely brilliant at learning the most important features of an object, like, say, the basic structure of a human face. They're not memorizing your face. They're learning what a face looks like. And that's how they can figure out exactly where your eyes, nose, and mouth are, and then slap that filter on perfectly every single time.
Okay, so that's the how. We've looked under the hood a bit, but now for the big question. So what? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? Let's talk about where the rubber meets the road.
The truth is, generative AI is already shaking things up across, well, pretty much every industry. We're talking about everything from whipping up marketing copy and social media posts, to helping developers write complicated code, to making business operations run smoother, and even supercharging creative design. The impact is already huge, and honestly, it's growing every single day.
But let's make this really concrete. Imagine you're a marketing manager. Last year, writing 50 unique product descriptions might have taken you a whole week. Now, you can have the AI generate the first drafts in an hour, and then you spend the rest of the day just refining and editing them. A task that took a full week is now done in a day. I mean, that's not just a small improvement, that's a massive leap in efficiency.
And it's the exact same story for software developers. It's like having this incredibly fast coding assistant who never gets tired and actually likes doing all the boring, repetitive stuff. And what does that do? It frees up the human developers to focus on the hard parts, the creative problem solving, the stuff that leads to real innovation.
Now, of course, with all this amazing power comes a whole lot of responsibility. It's not all sunshine and roses. We have to be really smart and careful about how we use these tools. So let's talk about some of the essential rules of the road.
We absolutely have to be aware of the risks. For one, these AIs can hallucinate, which means they can just make stuff up and state it as fact with total confidence. They can also reflect the biases that are present in all the data they were trained on. And then you have the really big, thorny questions about copyright, data privacy, and of course, the scary potential of deepfakes.
So what does this all mean? It means we have to be smart users. Think of this as your personal safety checklist. Number 1, be super clear and specific with your prompts. 2, always double-check any important facts it gives you. 3, never ever paste sensitive personal or company information into these tools. And maybe most important of all, remember, the AI is your co-pilot, it's not the pilot. You are still in charge. The final call always has to come from your human judgment.
Okay, is your head spinning a little? I get it, but don't be overwhelmed. Seriously, getting started is way easier than it sounds. So let's just break down a simple, no-pressure way you can start playing around with this stuff like today. How about this? A simple 1-month plan. Week 1, just start small. Open up ChatGPT and ask it some silly questions. Have a conversation. Week 2, hop on an image generator like DALL-E and just have fun creating some pictures. Week 3, try to find just one regular task at work you could use AI for. By the end of the month, I promise you'll have a much better feel for what this tech can actually do for you. And I just want to leave you with this one last thought, because I think it's really important. This technology, it's not here to replace our ability to think. It's here to amplify it. The real magic isn't in letting the machine do the thinking for you. It's in using it as a tool to help you think faster, create more, and push the boundaries of your own imagination. The goal isn't to think less, it's to think bigger and faster.